visible. Easy pickings.
I had to tighten the plan.
Fires a shot toward the zone. Touchdown, Tampa.
Don't be good.
Okay, TB12 has certainly turned it on over the last couple weeks. This has kind of been like a narrative for the entire show, wondering if the last couple of weeks or the last couple of quarters means some season-long ills have been fixed or some half-season-long ills have been fixed. Wait till we touch on the Trubisky subject, top of the next hour. But right now, Steve, Tom Brady, has he seemingly gotten the pedal to the metal here appropriately right now?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and he can take this team to the Super Bowl. We talk about they're inconsistent up and down. Yeah, you would expect that with a lot of new parts on this offense. They're running Bruce Arians' offense that Jameis Winston ran last year. They're throwing the ball down the field, which is really new to Tom. Is 9.2 air yards per attempt is the second most in the National Football League, and he's been for the last 5 years throwing it short. But you know what? Why? You don't have a Julian Edelman on this team, but they've got a receiving core that's better than what Tom had in New England. And they are talented. And let's not forget about this top 5 defense. And let's not forget about they already beat the Packers 38-10. And this team, if they play like they can beat anybody.
And let's not forget it was Detroit and Atlanta that we're talking about when Tom Brady has just torn it up. And now I'm excited. When this team comes together with all their weapons and Tom Brady playing like Tom Brady, I mean, we know they can beat anybody. But this year has just been up and down and all over the place, so I'm not convinced. I'm going to even show you last week. I know Tom Brady had a perfect quarterback rating. But let's come back here, and you're going to see a bunch of guys wide open all over. A little bit of pressure, panic a little bit, throw the football away. Now, it didn't happen a lot, but you're going to notice a theme here that when you can get pressure and we're missing opportunities down the field, that, yeah, you get more against the Detroit Lions team, but, man, this is wide open. I'm not sure how Tom's missing it. He's starting to see the pressure once again, and we'll show you a third opportunity here. Yes, I know you'll continue to say we had a perfect rating. I get it. A perfect
rating.
You
go against the Mike Backer here. You got a huge seam throw to the backside. We miss this opportunity once again, try to force it in down the field. And all I'm saying is that the teams they're going to be playing moving forward are all going to be good football teams. You've got to take advantage of the opportunities that you get. And I continue to see missed opportunities with this offense, even as great as we've seen them be at times. So I hope they can put it all together because they're going to be a fun team to watch. But the inconsistencies, I'm still worried about it, Irv.
Well, Brady had 5 incompletions in that game. We just saw 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 of them. And basically, he's saying you should have had 700 yards passing in the last 4 quarters, Tom.
Okay. That's how
Not enough GCP for Kurt.
Wait.
I'm just out of TB12. Basically what he's saying.
so hot, he had to put ice on his hand. And Kurt saying no.
Mike Evans needs 40 receiving yards to become the first player in NFL history with 1,000 receiving yards.
This is stuff that's been going on all year, and I know we can cover it up sometimes with. It's the playoffs, too. This is when he rises. This is his moment.
All right. If Evans gets 40 receiving yards, he becomes the first player in NFL history to have 1,000 yards receiving in his first 7 seasons as a professional.
He'll get it. And I love that they.
Well, I mean, they kept their starters in except for right there. Hour 2 of NFL Game Day Morning presented by Lowe's. We put the home team.
That's pretty amazing.
What is that?
That they're not on the trip. Now, listen, when you play the young guys feel that they have to perform, especially when the older guys are there watching. You know what I mean? Like if Kurt, you're sitting there and you're a young guy playing, he feels like he has to perform. I would have made sure they were there.
Well, I know it's a different time and a different era. You know what I mean? And obviously, you want to keep those guys home and quarantine. Certainly, when you got a playoff game the next week. But I totally understand what you're saying, and that's something that we're going to be talking about later on in this show with Ryan Fitzpatrick not standing on the sideline with Tua Tagovailoa getting this, not just for the fact that Fitzpatrick has come in when Tua has struggled, but just him chirping in his ear and just telling him X, Y, and Z and helping him out. But we'll talk about that later. It's time to talk about this game right here and right now with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And the question of the Colts coming into this game and needing the Steelers
to win a game, even though the Steelers beating them last week put them in a situation of needing this help. And the Steelers, did they figure everything out against the Colts last week, or are there still questions for you, Steve?
Questions all over the place still. I mean, they had a great second half. They won that game. That's a quality win against the Colts. Now, that's a good football team. So, you know, they're down 24-7, and we know that Ben likes to throw the ball quickly. They forget about the run game. They only ran for 22 yards again. All right. But by desperation, by need, when you're down 24-7 in the third quarter, you better sling it. Well, they did, and they did very well. 244 yards of passing in the second half. Deontay Johnson and Juju got their touchdowns, and Ben threw the ball down the field more so than he has all year. It worked against the Colts, but is that how they want to play football? Not really. I think they did only because they were behind so much.
Well, and, Coach, it was defense as well. I mean, their defense had 2 sacks and an interception in that second half, something that they haven't done since week 12, their last win in the second half against the Ravens. So you put that formula together and you go, well, yeah, if you could do this in the playoffs, you fixed your problems and you will be a tough out. Maybe the most important thing, though, was they were down 24-7. And they had lost 3 straight and everything was going haywire. They settled in. They made plays in the second half. They did what they had to do, and they found a way against a good football team to get a win. And so maybe that's why you sit this week. Hey, man, we're coming off a great second half. We're coming off a performance where we go, hey, we can overcome and we can do anything and we can beat a playoff-type team. I like what they did in the second half. I'm not convinced that all their issues are gone, but I love the last thing we saw on tape was some good Pittsburgh Steelers.
And neither are they. They're not convinced that the problems are gone. But Coach is being smart in this sense that he's taking this opportunity to say, this was the last taste that we will leave in your mouth, that you came back, that everybody made plays. We won the game the way we wanted to win the game, the way we've been trying to win games all year, throwing the ball up the football, throwing the ball, and we threw up the football field. Juju Smith-Schuster showed up. He did not dance on the logo. Let's get that, okay? He did not dance on the logo, but he was dancing in the end zone. He was dancing in the end zone. He made plays all over the field. Now, God, I don't believe that not dancing on the logo helped anything. But whatever, it worked out, and they won the football game. And the way they won the football game, I think, does help also.
That wasn't part of the issues they were trying to fix, was Juju off of the logo.
But they got him off the logo.
But it worked. Now what? Now he's got it. He can't do it anymore. It worked last week.
It certainly, in the third quarter last week, it looked pretty dim.
Great.
It looked dim, and then it just totally turned on for the Steelers. And then the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys have come on strong. And if they win in the Jersey snow, they'll sit back on their flight home and then turn on Sunday Night Football on NBC and root hard for the Eagles. If Washington, 2 days of triple headers, and we'll get you started each of those days at 9 a.m. Eastern with NFL Game Day Morning right here on NFL Network. Only one seed is cemented entering Week 17, and that is the 1 seed in the American Football Conference. That belongs to the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, who are going to be resting some key starters today, giving them half a month off, essentially, which is a rarity in the NFL. So let's take things to Ian Rappaport right now and walk us through what's going on right there and others.
Well, for Rich, the most important thing for the Kansas City Chiefs is you're not going to see Patrick Mahomes. No risk for Kansas City, as you mentioned, with everything locked up. So instead of Mahomes, it's going to be Chad Henne, the backup, making his first start since 2014. He got all the reps in practice. They believe he is ready. And, of course, this is going to be a glorified preseason game because they're going to be without several other key guys, including Tyreek Hill. He's got a little bit of a hamstring thing, not considered major, but they're not going to put him at risk. Either Le'Veon Bell is kind of dinged up. He might play a little, but Darwin Thompson going to get most of the carries for Kansas City.
All right, well, resting a quarterback in Week 17 with a playoff spot in hand. Nothing new for Andy Reid. In 2013 and 2017, he rested Alex Smith in Week 17, and both times the Chiefs ended up losing the wild card round game the following week. Silver lining was the 2017 Week 17 game featured the debut of Patrick Mahomes getting his feet wet in the American Football Conference Western Division right there in Denver. So they got things ready for him. And then you take a look at this fact right here. Teams with first-round bye to rest a quarterback in Week 17 of the last 10 postseasons. The only quarterback who won in the divisional round was Drew Brees against the Philadelphia Eagles in 2018. Lamar Jackson, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, all quarterbacks rested and then lost coming off of the bye week. So that's how we go to the Lowe's home studio and have the rest versus Russ conversation. Rich, take it away.
Okay, Rich, thanks. So this is the time of year where coaches make this decision, right, Kurt? You know, do I rest not just my starting quarterback, but other players on the team that I want to protect? Rest versus rust. Your thoughts?
Man, I mean,